All right. Welcome everyone to the Neo Pallet Town Post, our little draft league podcast. I'm joined today by Nikki,
Hey.
joined by Downfall,
How's it going, everyone?
and I'm joined by Hera.
Hey guys.
Do you guys want to take a second to introduce yourselves real quick? Just like what team you're on?
Am I supposed to go first?
Sure.
Hi, I'm Nikki. I'm on the bird gang that didn't draft like any birds except Mega Charizard. He's a bird. He's a flying type.
We'll count Lunala too for your.
Yeah, Lunala is kind of a bird.
It's one and a half
Lunala's
birds.
totally a bird. It has wings and learns Tailwind. I'm the worst player in the league, so remember that.
I'm Hera and I'm on the Chicago Great Tusks. We didn't take Tusk.
I'm Downfall. I'm on the UM Difference with my buddy Pineapple, and we've drafted a team that we'll go over later. But yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah, all right.
Did any team with a Pokemon in their name actually draft the Pokemon?
We did, but we'll get to that in a minute because we immediately swapped it out in free agency. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a minute. We'll cover that team later. But let's just dive right in. First team is Chillburger with Sempra and Charisma, restricted pairing Calyrex Shadow and Jirachi with Mega Kangaskhan.
Yeah, just off the bat,
Rillaboom
Mega
and
Kangas-
Napdex is wild.
Yes.
Because actually it's Grassy Glide.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. I was like, it's balanced now. It lost it. No, it didn't.
They have 4 fake out mons, I think. Does Chinchino get
Yeah.
fake out?
I
don't
don't
know.
think so.
They have 3. I know they have 3.
Chinchino does not
Yeah.
get fake outs. They have 3.
That's still
I think-
nuts.
This team is so good.
It's pretty busted. Mega Kangaskhan is like a huge pick. Cali Shadow is obviously insane. And then Rillaboom we've even seen like in Regulation D, Rillaboom's still very prominent after it lost Grassy Glide. So now we're just giving it back everything that made it really good last year. So I think it's going to be pretty crazy.
It gets high horsepower back too. Like,
Yep.
And
It went-
Superpower.
it went first overall, right? Like Rillaboom was the first overall
Yeah, that was
pick.
the
Like,
first
Yeah, that was the
That's
first
a-
one he drafted.
that was a good pick.
I
So-
agree. I think the other interesting
Easy.
thing about this team is with the two with Buzzwole and Nihilego, there's like a lot of steamrolling potential, and with Calyrex Shadow, because like KOs can lead to stat boosts, and especially with like support from Rillaboom or Talonflame and stuff like that, like I feel like we can really see this team snowball, and I think that makes it even scarier than some of these insane picks already are.
I see Buzzwole, and I think like a defensive core with like Assault Vest Rillaboom with just like Fake Out Woodhammer, Grassy Glide, U-turn, and then this Buzzwole that literally eats anything. Like level 100 Palafin Choice Banded Wave Crash does only 108 with Zen to a level 50 Buzzwole, and that's not even max defensive investment.
You know, that thing's stats are pretty nuts.
Buzzwole is pretty good. We highlighted the D tiers and all of the other teams. So Chinchino is an interesting one because it gets like Skill Link Technician, right?
Mouse hold at home.
Mouse hold at home,
Yeah.
baby.
Mouse
Wait,
hold
Skill
at
Link Technician
home.
is 2 abilities. It can't do that.
Yeah, it's true. But you could do like technician loaded dice, which is like almost the same thing as the skill link.
Yeah. Oh, it was Skill Link King's Rock is what it was. Is what you could run.
That's
jeez,
awful.
That would be so
on it. I almost ran that one week.
They banned
was-
that in
when did you
singles.
have Chinchino?
No, not with Chinchino. A couple seasons ago, me and Beer were gonna do a throwaway exhibition game because we were both locked for playoffs and seeding didn't matter to me. So we were just gonna do goofy teams, and so I had a tracked Kings Rock Bullet Seed, Glare Superior,
That is
just to
crazy.
You're
prevent them from
evil.
moving at all.
That is pretty evil.
It was great. I never got to run it, but it was fantastic.
I don't know a lot of what Mienshao does, but I like
Regenerator.
it as a fast.
Fake
Oh, does it really
out.
have regenerator?
Fake Out Regenerator.
I was gonna say I know it gets fake out, which will be nice. Yeah,
It
Inner
has
focus
base
as well.
105 speed taunt as well.
It's like
yeah.
105
So that'll be a
attack, I
pretty
think.
cool support one. I think they'll
No,
get
it's 125 attack.
It's 125 attack.
yeah,
is.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty.
It also-
that's
it also has
really good.
inner-
solid
focus.
support.
It has inner focus as well, so you
Mm-hmm.
can prevent other fake modes.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be
like-
surprised if we also saw a good chunk of Eviolite Bisharp. I want to say I might be. Did he run that? Did he have that for?
He had that
season
last
2 as
season. Yeah,
well?
he won
okay, I
the
was gonna
league
say,
last season with.
I
UVA
definitely
Bisharp.
remember like tweaking out about it when I played him in grand finals because I was like, this thing can do damage.
I fought him in like UVA finals. That Bishop caused me so many issues.
No, it's a problem,
And
especially
in that
with
deck,
EV
it
Light
gets
because it's
pursuit.
like. Say it again. Oh my gosh, you're right. It does.
It gets pursuit in that decks.
and
there's so
and
much-
knockoff.
There's so much switching, like just in modern day, compared to like when Bisharp first got pursuit and was just kind of chilling and didn't do
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, it doesn't proc on like U-turn and stuff, right? Like if you U-turn out, it doesn't proc.
I played singles
No, I
for
don't-
too
I
long
don't
to
think
not know
so.
the answer. I think it doesn't. And if it does, it's only if you are slower.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay,
But
that'd
I'm
be
pretty sure
interesting
it
to
just
find
doesn't.
out. Okay.
I'm still looking at Mian Chao and seeing fake out white guard coaching close combat.
It also is ally
Yeah.
switch.
Banned.
But oh wait,
Banned.
apparently banned.
Off the
It
podcast.
has been banned.
We're not allowed to talk about ally switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mean Show is a problem.
Oh, it
we
has
were looking
quick
at
guard, too.
Duraludon as well. Duraludon is kind of interesting because like all of its stats are good except its special defense.
And Stalwart
Yeah.
is actually a really cool ability. It can't be
Yeah.
like Rage Powdered or Follow Mead, which I think could be very powerful if you threw. Like if you somehow tried to make it your sweeper, you could. That could be because you just can't stop it from. choosing
Yeah,
its
it was
target at
good
that
in
point.
Dynamax, right? Like it was good in Dynamax and before the restricted and stuff came in. Like
I feel like it had a G
Yeah.
Max form, didn't it?
it did, but the
The
Gmax form was
Gmax form
crap
was worse.
because
really.
Gmax reduced PP and regular one just boosted its defense.
No, the
Oh.
Gmax
it
move for
set spikes.
Duraludon was Dragon.
Oh, it was Dragon? Oh, okay. Then
Yeah.
it lowers attack. It lowered attack versus PP drain. And
Mhm.
VGC
Yeah.
matches don't go on long enough for PP drain to
No.
matter a whole lot.
Yeah,
Unless it's like Hydro
Interesting.
Pump or one of those type moves with max
like
of 8.
E-Speed.
East,
Does
Yeah.
Team have a reliable way to set Trick Room? Nihilego and Espatha are the only ways, aren't they?
I think Calyrex gets Trick Room as well. And
Yeah,
Jirachi.
Calyrex
Jirachi
Shadow
gets
gets
Trick Room.
Trick
But I
Jirachi,
feel like
what
you
am I
really
saying?
don't want Calyrex setting your. I mean, it can set it, but I don't think you want it on the
No,
field.
you just get Calyrex in like an after you Pokemon. That would be hilarious.
I think
Like,
the best way to do it.
Sets Trick Room, clicks after you with a Slowmon.
I did that in season 3. That was my anti Trick Room. It was Eviolite Hatrim.
Like,
That actually is kind of heat. I won't let you.
It was Swamp's idea. I can't take credit.
I hope they find a way to make Espathra good because Espathra is one of those mons that I really like, but I feel like it's just so tricky to make it work. Especially
Yeah.
like it was tricky to make it work even in like series 2. And so I think like in a format like this, it might struggle. But again, like I think it has potential. And if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be those two.
Yeah, I mean it made UVA finals, but that was with Sandy Shocks and stuff. So like it doesn't have the gravity. support.
Gnosis.
wait,
Yeah, yeah.
no,
it doesn't-
it didn't make UVA finals.
It does not get gravity, by the way.
semifinals.
No, he made top 4. I beat him in top 4.
Okay, I know. I was gonna say I know he beat me, but I didn't remember how far he actually got. I thought he made it all the way.
No,
to,
because
two
because
finals.
UVA finals was Hera and Sempra.
Oh
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that's my bad.
So,
We've talked about every mon except Jirachi, I think.
Talon Flame. I mean, there's not really much to say.
Para
Yeah,
flinch
Jirachi
time.
is
baby.
annoying.
That's Serene Grace, Ironhead, T Wave, and everybody suffers.
Yay.
Yeah.
I do wonder if that's the set they will run or if they'll find something else to do with it. But like, I mean, I
think
guess when I
the-
look at Jirachi, that's always the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah. Well,
I
there's 3 other Jirachi here in this half of the draft, so we'll have plenty of time to talk about Jirachi.
That is
But
true.
Mhm.
I think it's like it gets like Follow Me
It does.
is its big one. So like Steel type Follow Me, I don't think
With
that's anywhere else in the
100,
decks.
100 defenses.
It does get follow
Yeah.
me, yeah.
Yeah, Jirachi gets a lot of fun stuff. Do we have any
Pass as well?
closing thoughts on this team before we move on to the next one?
It is
I
going to be
like it.
cracked.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think that Mian Chao is going to show up.
Yeah, I think
that it
Minchow's
is
a good
going
find.
to take names.
Yeah, it's a good find. It's a good find. A lot of we were talking about that in the other episode, but a lot of these low tier mons are really good finds.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that the other day, like especially with like some of the C picks are very, very good.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. One last thing before we stop off this team. Buzzwole gets Fellstinger.
Oh goodness.
I
Okay.
just wanted to
Okay.
I
that's
just
a-
wanted to put that one out there.
As if
Yeah.
it wasn't snowballing enough.
Wait, hold
Wowza.
on.
Yeah.
Hold on. Does a Spathra get speed swap?
Espathra does not get speed
No,
swap?
sir.
Okay.
Oh,
Then it-
thank God. I
Not
know.
according to Showdown.
okay, then that's a less funny. Because
Aw.
what I did one time was I ran speed swap next to a Pokemon with Fell Stinger and side Fell Stinger to get the +3 and the speed swap on the same turn.
Oh,
Wow.
That's hype.
Wow.
It was
That's
fun.
pretty
That's
ass.
so funny.
Yeah, it was fantastic. But the next team we have a coach and call. Downfall and Pineapple on Difference, Kyogre Manaphy, and Mega Aggron. Talk to me about Aggron. That one was surprising to me. I didn't think that one would go.
So the decision on Aggron was kind of two things. One, we wanted to add some bulkier mons to our roster, and we also wanted some megas. But by the time we had gotten down to, because I think we actually picked a C before we picked a B, so we were very deep into our picks by the time we got down there, and there was not a lot of megas left. And we just kind of pulled up Mega Aggron, and I took one look at the defense stat on that thing, and I thought it was hysterical. So we were like, screw it. It goes because it loses the rock typing. And then on a rain team, it doesn't lose the fire weakness, but I mean, it's significantly helped. And then filter's still like a great ability. So we were like, this thing could be a bit of a powerhouse. And then I don't want to leak too many of our strategies. However, we
Right.
just kind of took one look at the defense stat. We were like, I mean, it's a defensive sponge for sure. And we just kind of wanted a mega. So we threw it on there.
There's
Yeah,
no way it doesn't get body press, right? It has to get body
It,
press.
it does.
Okay, thank
it-
God.
I-
I thought we were gonna have a
It also
John
gets iron
DeSantis
defense.
scenario for a second.
yeah.
Can you imagine iron defense Aggron?
Oh
I have
man.
no desire. It doesn't need it, but I think it's so funny that it gets it.
Oh man, I'm waiting for like Hone Claws Stone Edge.
Oh goodness. Oh boy.
This thing's
Oh, yeah.
defense with max defense bold is over 300, by the way.
Let's go.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no,
300
it's
plus
insane.
stat.
Yeah. They've got a solid rain core already. They've got Dracovish for the boosted Fishes Ren. Zapdos gets Hurricane and Thunder.
Elven
And
Legion
that's
goes-
Legion.
Basculegion gets Swift Swim. Overquill gets Swift Swim.
Manaphy, one of the only Tail Glow Pokemon in the format. Along
And I
with
think
the
Tortuga
Volbeat.
gets Swift Swim as well.
Tortuga's a
Tortuga
mascot. I won't lie to you.
gets-
It's the same. I did the same thing with Wiglet for season 3. I was like, Wiglet was never gonna come, but it was just the team's mascot, and Tortuga will probably be the same thing. But I just think it's adorable. So I was like, I mean, we're making a rain team. We got to put Tortuga on there.
I suppose that's fair.
Rest
Bro.
Manaphy and Rain.
Oh, yeah, because of hydration.
Yep.
That could be fun.
I did that with a Goodra once. It was awesome.
Yeesh. Tapu Bulu, the only Tapu that's not in the S tier.
We
Sad
wanted
Rillaboom
Rillaboom, but we
noises.
couldn't get Rillaboom, so Tapu Bulu. It was like the decision was like kind of that like a bulky grass type would be great, and we were gonna grab Hisui and Gudra, and it got sniped by the people right before us, and I was very sad about that because we wanted like an electric resist because you can't have too many water types running around without something to handle an electric type, and so that was kind of like we decided kind of a mid-ground like defensive offense to put on there.
Yeah, no, you got a couple of grass types here. Both of your C tiers are grass types with
Yep.
Hisuian Electrode and Chestnut. Same idea. Electric
Pretty much.
resists.
I really like for another league I had drafted regular Electrode, and Hisuian Electrode is just kind of the same thing but better, in my opinion. And so it's funny because in draft I really like it as a support mon. So I think it's something that people sleep on like a lot.
Is Chestnut one of those random grass types that just gets Grassy Glide but never gets to use it, or is he not?
That is a good question.
That's
He's
an
not.
excellent question. Does he not
He's
get it?
not. Oh, sad
Yeah,
times.
no, it does not get
That would have
Grassy
been
Glide.
crazy.
would've been
Tapu Bulu
so
That
Chestnut
would've
stuff.
been nice, yeah.
Because its attack stat is so like just barely usable.
Hmm.
Its defense is his best stat, right? And it gets body press.
Yeah, it's got
Like,
122 for defense,
Grass
and I
cover
think it
up.
also gets like bulk up, so you can run like bulk up body press, and then like with terrain boost, you have if you run, it gets what wood hammer, it gets bullet seed, it gets oh no, okay, it does, it gets trailblaze, so you have some offensive options that can like be boosted from the terrain if it gets paired with Bulu, and then also bulk up for the defensive stat, and then body press.
Oh, and you
obviously.
get to
It has
bulletproof through
wide
random
guard
stuff.
too. Oh, it has belly drum
huh? That's not bad.
and quick guard.
Quick guard will be nice to have, I think, especially into some of the bigger, like into fake outs and some of the bigger threats of the form.
Worry seed into random Pokemon just to cripple them.
What does Worry Seed even do?
It changes
their
ability
their
to
ability, okay.
Insomnia.
Insomnia.
Just Worry seed a Koraidon and remove its boost.
That would be hilarious. Is that permanent or does it change when you switch out?
change when you
Changes
switch
on
it out.
Okay, that's what I
but then it
figured.
forces a switch and you get to
Yeah.
double up their ally.
Yeah, I think stuff like I think it's the funny stuff like that, right? Like I think it's those little tech things that like never could work in regular VGC that make or break a draft team.
I agree. That's what makes draft fun, especially for an off season. Just goofy things like Worry Seed, Chesnaught that you can explore and just kind of screw around with.
Yeah.
Pets don't run these things in normal season.
Of course,
I've
I
been
do. Of
driving
course I
Pato
do.
insane with these things. He's seen more mud slaps in his life in the past month.
Yeah, that's great, guys. Yeah. Any closing thoughts on this team?
I'm
Like
excited to
Tailwind.
play with it.
I like it.
Seems solid up and down.
I'm a really
Yeah.
big Zapdos fan, so I'm actually excited to use that. We didn't talk too much about it. It kind of speaks for
It's
itself, but
Weather
it's
Ball
one of
in
those.
Nadex.
It's one
I
of
just
those
remembered.
things that, yeah,
Oh,
I
Weather
don't
Ball is
ever really
nice.
get a chance to use, but it'll be really cool to have it.
Yeah. It's kind of like Hera's team in that like its top is like a weather beat stick. Right? You got Kyogre, you got Dracovish, you got Basculegion. You've just got these really heavy hitters in rain.
Yeah.
All right. The next team we have is neutral and cozy with the Twinleaf Togekiss Tusslers, Kyogre Jirachi as its restricted pairing, and Mega Mawile as its mega in the S tier.
Oh man.
Yeah, my first thought
Mega
when I looked at the
Mawile
team
is
was just
busted.
yeah, it was that was my second thought. Was Mega Mawile is insane. I pulled it up on Showdown because again, it's one of those mons that I've never seen a lot of, and like I just like looked at it and I was like, oh my god, yeah, that thing's nuts. And then my first impression was that Tornogre, and then my third impression was, oh god, Mega Mawile and Tornogre, and things are very scary from just that front three on the top of their team list.
This is
Yeah.
a real team. This isn't a draft team. This is like Jake's team in season 3. It was just a real Talon Tusk team.
Yeah.
And I am so glad that I'm the one with Zard Y. Did all 3 of you draft Kyogre?
I took it.
I took it.
Yeah,
And Downfall took it. Yeah, all three of us
Yeah.
took Kyogre.
Oh,
we are the rain
man.
teams.
I'm surrounded.
Yeah, Kyogre's the most popular restricted in this draft, I believe.
I would
Wait, did
never.
anyone take Groudon?
No, there's 2
No.
Koraidons
There's- I was gonna say there's a
and no
Koraidon.
Groudon.
Is there two?
The
There's
double
2
down.
Groudons, yeah. Which is interesting because I feel like depending on what it is you're trying to accomplish, I feel like Groudon is a bit more reliable than Koraidon, possibly depending on what you're looking for. But that said, I'm very excited to see Koraidon and what it can do because we haven't really seen much of it yet at all.
Yeah, we'll talk. Koraidon's on one of the teams we're going to
Mhm.
cover, so we can talk a little bit more about Koraidon later. But yeah, going back to the team at hand, Hisui and Gudra is always going to be a problem. I think we've
So fat.
that's been it's
Mhm.
it's so bulky, hard to remove, and it gets their D tier is Thwacky, which brings grassy terrain, so you can run
Yeah.
grassy terrain for recovery and then forego leftovers for another item.
Like goggles, if maybe you can try to move those.
Mhm.
Actually, no, Sap Sipper.
Yeah, it runs Sap Sipper at that
Sap
point. I
Sipper
think.
Terra Water leaves you only weak to electric, but you have 150 special defense. And then you can
No
just
electric
grassy
is
glide into your own Goodra and buff your attack.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good call out. Yeah, no, I think Gudra Hisui will be a really big issue on their team specifically, for the rest of us. And it's like it's a mon that's seen a good chunk of play in Regulation D, and I think that just screams that it will do very well for itself, especially in a draft format.
Yeah, I mean, it'll do better and worse because on the one hand, its counters will be less, obvious, but at the same time, it's going to be easier to focus down on it, right? Like that's the give and take of draft, just in general.
I really like Stantler because you have Intimidate and Frisk, and because this is closed team sheet, Frisk is so much
Yep.
more valuable.
Frisk is really nice to have in draft,
So true.
Yeah,
just for the scouting. Yeah,
and
And
I also
Zoroark
think,
is
like,
funny.
Stantler again, because now that we have Wordier gets Eviolite as well. So I mean, the defenses aren't amazing, but it can definitely be an annoying support mon if you don't respect it.
Yeah, it got top 8 at Japan Nats in closed team sheet.
Yep.
So
Not
it's
surprised.
got potential, man. It's got a real shot.
They have so
um,
much output. Like
Yeah.
so much output.
Yep. Even just like Thunderous Therian is like when you look at the threats on their team, Thunderous Therian is still a huge threat, but like
I hate
it's almost
Thunderous
one of your
Therian.
it's almost not your biggest concern, which is a hilarious thing to say because with a special attack stat of 145.
And 100% accurate when Wild
Exactly
Bolt Storm.
Yep, that's what I was
101
just about to
speed.
say.
Yeah, they got double Genie here.
They
That's
can
interesting.
Disquake with Mamoswine.
Oh,
Oh yeah, they could do that.
that's fun.
Disquake
That's
with
fun.
Grundy.
Yeah. And then they have Blaze Tauros.
I thought that was an
Another
interesting pick.
Intimidator. Another Intimidator. They've got 2 on the roster.
Yeah, wait.
Still
the Rain
3.
team has Fire Tauros and the Sun team has Water Tauros.
And it was like their first
Huh.
B pick. So I was like, I don't know if they weren't quite set on
'cause
a rain
base
team by
Mawile.
then. Yeah, base Mawile gets it before it mega evolves.
Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be hard to break through on the physical side.
Yeah. It also gets sheer force, the mega Mawile. I mean, I know we already talked about it, but like still, I think it's crazy.
Yeah, no, it gets huge power,
Huge
I
power.
thought. It's huge
Once
power.
it mega
It's-
evolves, but it has sheer force before that. Like if you don't want to mega evolve it turn 1 for whatever reason.
I don't know. I've run Mawile before. I get some fun ideas. Get some fun concepts.
I think
With all-
Zoroark will be fun for them as well. Just the mind games of it. Zoroark Hisui does the mind games a little bit better, but Zoroark, I mean, it still does the mind games, and it's still a fun mon with pretty good stats.
Yeah, they're not
Doesn't
bad. It's like
anything.
what 105 speed, 120 special attack or something. I don't remember off the top of my head,
Bonkers
but it's something
coverage.
in that range.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and again, like with Tailwind, that's fast enough to do some damage.
You guys have totally skipped over Ludicolo, and we need to acknowledge him because
That
he's
was
getting
another
lonely.
pick that we actually kind of wanted that they finessed from us.
Ludicolo
Ludicolo's
is
cool.
so funny. It gets fake out.
Fast, really
Yep.
fast fake out too.
Gets fake out and weather ball. So that's stab, 100 base power, water move, and rain off of 90
Yeah.
special attack.
I mean, 90 is not great, but that's still
He's not great, but you slap a Lorb on that.
yeah. That's another solid attacker.
Yeah,
And Terra Water.
and if you go like max speed, you're faster than a considerable chunk of things.
Most things, I would think. I think you could get away with not running max speed into a lot of the format.
I was saying
Because-
max speed if rain is up and you're running Swift Swim puts you at 268. So you're
Okay.
faster than a lot of things.
I think the only things you don't outspeed are booster Pokemon and Regieleki.
Yeah.
But no one
Did-
drafted Regieleki.
I was gonna say, did Reggie like even get drafted?
I don't think it got
No.
drafted.
It's
No,
don't
I don't
believe it
think
did.
so.
it's got the same issue that Dondozo gets, where you can plan for it
Yeah.
so well. Like it's so good, but you can see it coming so hard.
Because it really still kind of does the same thing it has done for the last year and a half since it's been brought into existence. It's just like Terra makes it slightly trickier now, but Terra makes a lot of other things more tricky, and I think that's why we don't see as much of it.
It's a Terrahog that doesn't live it very long, so it's just bad Dragonite.
Yeah, Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I'll be interested to see what they do with Mamazwine. It doesn't seem like, again, like looking at the other threats on their team, it doesn't scream huge threat, but I think it can cover a lot of niches that they might need it to.
Yeah, we were looking at Mamoswine, and I ran some calcs, and I wish I had them saved because, like, this mon does things.
It's a good bulky offense. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, 130.
Icy ground is busted.
That's great
Yes.
offensive coverage.
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Does it get shard?
I believe
I
it gets
think-
shard, yes.
It
does,
gets shard,
yup.
yeah.
Oh, man.
Fun times, fun times. I feel like we're not talking about Kyogre a whole lot. Like,
It's
just because, like, it sets
Kyogre
rain.
is, yeah, it sets rain. We can't Terra it, thankfully. I think Terra Kyogre would be one of the most terrifying things, just because like a Choice Specs Terra Water Spout would be nuts. But thankfully, we only
You
have to
can't
worry
Terra
about.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't
Thankfully,
Terra
we
this,
don't have to
so-
worry about that. So I think it'll be pretty standard to what we've always seen Kyogre do.
That's fair. That's fair. Do we have any closing thoughts?
No, I feel like this is a really strong team.
I think so as well.
I think that it is the second most like akin to a real team that you would run just normally, compared to our next team. Actually, is the one that I think is the closest to just a real team.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, so the next team we're going to be talking about is my team, the Atlantic Aegislash, with me and Swamp, Kyogre Jirachi as its restricted pair, and Mega Manectric as its Mega.
No Aegislash on it.
Well, here's the story about Aegislash is it was originally our last draft pick. It was our second S. And then we're looking at the picks that went, Swamp's looking at the picks that went undone, and he saw that King Gambit
Yeah.
wasn't picked. And he starts looking at King Gambit. He's like, this thing gets pursuit and knockoff, and it's just a really good Pokemon anyway, and it helps our type chart. So like free agency opens, and we immediately swap it out for Aegislash for King Gambit. It was
And
like
that's
one
a
of the-
very good swap.
yeah, like Aegislash is fun, but I think King Gambit is probably a little more solid overall, like all around. Because Aegislash is very volatile, and King Gambit is anything but.
Yeah, I mean, King Gambit's terrorized VGC like this entire season. So I think, like you said, it getting pursuit and knockoff is just crazy. I think the Nat
Yeah.
decks for it will really shine on this team.
I
Yeah.
feel like there is not a single Pokemon on your entire team who Power of Alchemy would not love to come after.
Yeah, like
Literally every single Pokemon here is a Power of Alchemy like donator. You can
Mhm.
reset Rain, Serene Grace, Poison Jabs, Urshifu, Defiant, Prankster, Intimidate, Regenerator, Contrary,
Yeah.
Huge Power, Intimidate again, or Sand Rush. This is obnoxious. You guys did this on purpose, didn't you?
we
What
were
does
gonna
Parasect do?
yeah, we took Muck after something got sniped. I forget exactly what. And we were looking at Muck, and he was like, and like we were like, I was set on Diggersby already. I thought that was like a really good pick because like it's got
This is
like
wild.
yeah, like it's got like the same attack stat as Azumarill, but it's in C tier and Azu's in A. So I was like, this seems like a really good value pick this far down. And then he was like, wait a
Oh.
minute, we can Power of Alchemy, huge power. We're taking Muck right now.
You guys gonna do Protect Last Resort Diggersby and just no other moves?
Maybe. I am not at liberty. I am not at liberty to give away this information.
I'm excited to
This team
see
is
how you
insane.
guys utilize Illumise here, because its stats are like a little lackluster, but I mean, it's got really cool stuff that it can do with Prankster.
Yeah, it's got Prankster Tailwind, and that's one of the reasons we took it. Again, I'm not at liberty to disclose like
Mhm.
everything we've talked about with Illumise.
It also has
but-
Baton Pass, which could be interesting.
I am a huge Baton Pass believer.
It gets it's not minimized, but what's it, double team? It gets so you have a double team Baton Pass possibly, or wait, maybe I lied. No, yeah, I guess double team. So I mean, you have cool stuff you can do with the prankster on this that I think will be really fun to see what you guys come up with.
Yeah, and all of the moves that drop stats, you've got Flash, you've got Fake Tears, you've got Charm, you've got Confide, you've got like just an obnoxious amount of moves that you can use with this prankster. Prankster Mimic.
Charm, yeah.
Yeah.
Prankster Sweet Scent makes everything accurate.
Prankster Sweet Set into Origin Pulse.
You're evil, and I
Yay.
love that.
That's terrible. That's let's not give him ideas.
We've got Tornogre if Tornogre was good.
Oh,
Oh, gosh.
so-called free thinking draft players when Kyogre and Tornadus.
Yeah. I will say the Pokemon we were most worried about getting sniped was actually Tornadus Therian.
I see it.
Yeah, we thought that was
Why
like,
is it B tier?
I don't know. We thought that was like,
121 speed regenerator should never be B tier.
yeah, we were
It's
looking
U-turn.
at that and like,
Gets
I-
U-turn as well.
yeah, it gets
It's
U-turn.
the same reason that Blastoise should not have been, what was it, C tier? Or
I
B
think
tier?
Blastoise was C.
Yeah,
Where's
Blastoise
Blastoise?
was B. That's still a steal because there's 3 of them.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
seeing
Especially
that in,
'cause now you get,
DMing
like-
Pato.
Now you have perfectly accurate Bleakwind Storm.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, we were set on Kyogre from the very beginning. And so we were like, well, Urshifu Rapid, that's a rain of
Obvious
use, right?
pick. Yep.
Yeah,
Duh.
Mega Manectric has Thunder, right? Tornadus Therian's got the Bleakwind Storms, right? Like we were looking for some. Technically, though, like Tornadus Therian is technically like frailer than Superior is. Like not
That
counting
flying
regener.
type is so good
Yeah,
defensively.
it's not bad. It's
And
not
it
bad.
can regen.
Yeah.
And
Very
especially
fun.
with things like Stoutland and Muck, it's not like you don't have switching power to utilize the regenerator.
And you have regular Manectric, just without an
That
item.
too. Yeah, that too. Like
Mhm.
regular Manectric with a lightning rod.
And you get to
Yeah.
play mind games for the whether or not you're gonna Terra, whether or not it's gonna lightning rod stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were saying it's like the closest to a real team. You were saying.
Yes, this is 100% the closest thing to a real team in the entire league, probably.
Yeah, I
Like,
think that's fair. If there were to, like if there were to be like a Nat Dex format,
Yeah.
I think this would be pretty close.
I think the only other arguments would be TTT or EOS. EOS is a terrifying monster of a team, and I hate that we don't get to talk about it.
EOS. We talked about it a little bit, yeah. We talked about it in the other episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both. I mean, I appreciate all the praise you're heaping upon my draft. Like I really appreciate that. I quite like that.
the expectation is now high.
Yes, watch, we're gonna go 0-6 and just be the disappointment of the league.
If I beat you, I'm clipping this right now.
Do you have if you do, you don't have to share them necessarily. But like, do you have plans for Parasect, or was it kind of just one of those like
Dude, he's got
you
dry
threw
skin.
it out there?
Dry
Yeah, it's
skin
got dry
spore.
skin. Here's the
Okay.
thing. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, is Parasect is objectively better than what I was looking at before.
Parasect is my god.
I was looking at Morlo because Morlo had Spotlight, and I thought Spotlight was like I thought Spotlight worked like you could make your opponents target their own side, and it's like
Mhm.
priority, and I thought that would be really cool, but Spotlight doesn't work like that. So I'm like, well,
Oh.
this is a shame. We should look at something else. And Parasect had Spore.
Does he get
that was-
rage powder?
Yes, it does. It gets Spore Rage
Yeah.
Powder. It's like got 2-4 times weaknesses though. To like no, technically it has a 5 times weakness to fire
Yeah, because of dry skin.
because of dry skin. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So like, that's not great.
Oh, it gets wide guard too.
Fun.
But that's what they make terrestrialization for.
It gets pursuit. Yo, choice fan Parasect.
Okay.
I will say, if we're terrestrializing Parasect for damage, I feel like something has gone awry.
No, it just means you've
Possibly.
already won, probably.
Yeah, I suppose we did Terrabug Fungus last time.
You know what's a move that we haven't mentioned yet, but is everywhere in Nat decks that you don't normally see is knockoff. Knockoff is everywhere in Nat decks because of that old
Tutor and Sun and
Gen
Moon, right?
6
Mhm.
or Gen 7 tutor.
Well, and I think that was the first thing we mentioned about King Gambit.
yeah, it gets knocked. That's the huge thing with King Gambit. But like, you have if you have like a Parasect, it's got like 3 moves that you would totally throw on it for support, and that's Spore, Wide Guard, Rage Powder. But like, whatever you do with that Force Thought, you could just throw knockoff in there. And if people are like calcing, like, oh, I can have this Choice Scarf be exactly faster than their Tornadus Therian with Tailwind up, or I can have this Choice Spexmon exactly kill their Kyogre. But if you just hit them with knockoff because they're not focusing the Parasect enough, you've just completely upended their entire plan.
Yeah, and like a lot of stuff on this team gets knockoff now that I'm looking at it. Like I know Superior
Everything
gets knockoff.
dude.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah,
the
like-
distribution is a lot wider now because it
This
really
used to
wasn't
be
for
a
Gen
problem in
9.
singles. Like, the amount of mons that didn't get knockoff is hilariously small. If you search it, it's like all the Pikachus and like the alt forms and the fake Pokemon. I see I see literally no Pokemon that don't get knockoff if I search knockoff, because it's all the alt forms.
That's crazy. Yeah, knockoff is going to be one of.
Yeah,
We were talking in the other episode about how like weather is going to be one of the big stories. Like knockoff could be big too.
knockoff is wild. And bug bite, because you got item
Oh.
claws, so many people run like berries. You steal that berry and you just heal. Who has
Yeah.
Scizor. Someone's got to have Scizor.
Does someone have Scizor? I don't know. I don't think
There's no
someone.
way.
I don't think someone took Scizor.
Oh my god, no
Survey
one took Scizor? How did I not see
says-
this?
No,
All you rain team nerds and none of you took Scizor. Man,
that's actually a very good point.
I know, it's technician boosted bug bite. You bug bite them while you're at 75%, eat their citrus berry, and kill them. Now you're back at full.
I suppose. I don't know.
I actually
I
didn't
thought
know
bug,
it did that.
I thought bug
Yes.
bite got nerfed now. Like it doesn't work if they don't have a berry. Like I thought I got reworked.
No, it still does.
Oh, okay, never mind.
It still does.
What am I thinking of? I know something fails now if you don't have an item.
Poltergeist,
Poltergeist, that might be it.
but it's also 90
Yeah,
power,
that's Poltergeist
90
that fails
accuracy.
without an item.
Yeah. I will admit that I'm biased when I say that I really like this team. But
Fair.
I do think like trying to look at this objectively, I do feel like this is another like solid all around where it's
Seems
not there's not like
terrifying.
one objective mode that we can go with, right? Like
No,
I
you
think
guys
that
have string shit. It's over.
yay.
I think it'll be very interesting to see how the rain teams match up into each other. Because, like, I think your team performs out of the rain teams, possibly performs the best outside of rain.
Yeah.
And then
So
in
I
rain,
th-
you've got Thunder and Bleakwind Storm, and into the Kyogres, we've got Superior and Manectric
Yep.
and stuff
So
like that. Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how the rain teams try to beat each other down.
Yeah, I think TTT has Gudra and Thundy T and Mega Mawile to scare other rain teams, but like, I don't know, something just doesn't feel as good because it feels like it still can't eat Kyogre the way that like just straight grass and water Pokemon can.
Yeah, I mean, Gudra can probably take it pretty well, but
Gudra's a beast, but it has to have that AV. That's when you knock off. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Dracovish is just scary. I don't know.
I'm
Yeah.
really excited to use
I'm
that
not
thing.
watching any rain team dittos this season.
Come on, this is going to be like the most interesting.
No.
Okay.
I
Do we have any?
refuse.
Do we have any closing thoughts on Atlantic Aegislash before we move on?
Sandra
I
Sullivan,
like
my
this
boy.
team. I like the King Gambit pick. I want to see how well it does in that dex.
I think it'll be a menace for sure.
I think that you guys will make Calyrex Shadow not exist. Same
Yes,
with Mega
sir.
Gengar.
Yeah, there's only 3 of those total, though, I believe. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still.
Still, yeah.
Oh, and I have Lunala. Oh man. Why did I pick this Pokemon?
But next we have the goofy Gholdengos with Pigs and Pog. Restricted pairing of Koraidon and Jirachi with Mega Houndoom.
one thing to say. The second that free agency opened, they tried to get Scovillain from us. Like, I'm talking within minutes. They tried to get
I know.
Scovillain from us, and we didn't give it to them because we wanted Heliolisk. And then we waited until there was actually like 30 seconds left in free agency to trade away Scovillain to no one.
And they still got
And
it.
they still got
Yep,
it.
they nabbed
they
it right at
still
the
got
last
it.
second.
Yeah,
And
so
now we have
I
to-
was on a
Ugh.
I was on a call with him like before he took it, and like he kept asking like me and a couple of my other friends that are in the league like if we wanted Pulte guys because he said he really wanted Scovillain or Scovillain, however you say it.
Yeah.
That's
he
interesting.
tried to
Like
give
it gets
us Pulte
chlorophyll,
as
right? Like it's chlorophyll and
Yeah,
it's
what's its two
chlorophyll.
abilities.
It gets
So
rage
the
powder.
chlorophyll.
It's
It does
so
get rage
good.
powder. I think chlorophyll will be what they mostly use it for, just given the
else
fact
is
that
it
they're
good?
a Sun team.
If you pair it with foul play, you can ask Swamp about this because he told me about this. I think over 24 times in season. It was constantly something he was mentioning, but spicy extract first doubles their attack. So now the attack stat for foul play has been doubled, and then it halves their defense. So now it gets doubled on top of that, and it makes foul play this like BFG 9000th level rail cannon of an attack. And you have like Houndoom, who's so fast, and it's a special attacker, and so it can like randomly just be paired with Scovillain and be this nuclear bomb of a Pokemon because you can either just solar power fire blast them,
Yeah.
or all of a sudden your special wall gets hit with a foul play that's like a million times more powerful than it's supposed to be.
Yeah, spicy extract makes it like gives it a ×4 multiplier, I think. If
Yes,
done by
it's
math.
something
right.
Effectively,
obnoxious.
yeah.
It's +2. It's +2 attack, -2 defense.
Right. So that's a right. They're both
It's
50%
effectively,
boosts.
yeah.
Yeah, and something else ridiculous is Chen Pao. If you know, Wo-Chin foul play does not use the dropped attack, but Chen Pao on the field in a foul play happens does use the dropped defense.
Of course it does.
One little interaction for you there.
Yeah, I think I actually think that them picking up a Lander Asterion is
Oh,
huge
It's meaty.
because like think about what's like the biggest counters to Lander Asterion is ice, and just one of the biggest counters in Reg D right now that's keeping it down a little bit is Shin Pao with Ice Spinner.
And they have
So like now they have Shin Pao.
They have
have
the
one of
best
the biggest
Lander
count-
steering counter, yeah.
Yeah, well, one of the best. Like Kyogre is still really good into it.
That's
And there's
true.
a bunch of those. But like for the rest of the roster, like yeah, like they have one of the biggest answers to Landorus on their own board.
And they have 2 water immune Pokemon for mind games. They have Dry Skin Heliolisk if they ever want to run that on their Sun team. And they have Water Absorb Jellicent. And
Yeah,
Ripon,
they
I
handle
guess.
water and ice types very well. So I think that
Very, very
Landorus
well.
will shine for them quite a
Wait,
lot.
they have like literally every single Pokemon that we didn't draft. Like if I have a list of all the Pokemon that we thought about and didn't draft, and every single one is on this team.
That's kind of funny.
Every single one.
It's actually kind of funny.
Yeah.
I think Ditto will be very interesting.
Yeah, Ditto was funny. Ditto was funny.
So hype. Because I see one Pokemon specifically that Ditto matches into so hilariously, and that is Magearna over on Dig's team. Magearna, and it gets all its funny boosts up, and then you just drop a Ditto.
I think it's definitely one of those things that makes you think twice before you try to set up too hard, because a Choice Scarf Ditto can just kind of come in and reverse sweep you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like it's had a niche before. I don't see why it won't fill the same thing again.
Especially with restricteds. Like we haven't seen a lot of it in this season of VGC, but we haven't had, not that we haven't had super powerful Pokemon, but Exhibit A is Fluttermane in every tour, but we haven't had like restricteds that it can copy and just start hitting stuff.
Yeah.
Never
It's,
stops doing what it does well.
Yeah. We've highlighted every D tier so far. I'm gonna highlight Riolu. I think Riolu in D is
Was a mistake.
really good. I think that's really good.
I would just like to say I had it last season. It kind of sucked. It
I was
did
gonna say,
nothing.
what does it
Does it get
do?
Murkrow syndrome? Does it become partner Pokemon?
It has Final Gambit, it has Quick Guard, it has both weathers, it has Helping Hand, and that's like it.
It gets
I
coaching.
mean, I was gonna say, and it's got prankster.
Oh yeah, now it has Coaching.
It's got coaching.
So you get
now.
prankster coaching.
And that could be good for like Koraidon and stuff.
Yeah,
like
that's
That could
prankster
be
coaching
very
into
good for
Koraidon.
Koraidon.
It's going to be good for Landorus, for Shenpao.
Does Foresight apply
Bonnet.
to allies?
Foresight? Oh, are you talking about like
Yeah.
it gets prankster Foresight?
Yeah,
That's a
does
good
Foresight apply
question.
to allies?
I would assume so.
Oh, we gotta find that because that's a game changer with Koraidon. Close combat into
Or collision
like-
course.
Yeah. Dude.
Bulbapedia says, I think self and ally.
Oh, that's
If
big.
I am not
That's-
incorrect.
That's good.
Y'all ready for
And it gets
Lunala to
faint,
get hit with
and
that
it
close
gets
combat?
faint. If you faint on a weather team is so funny because if they're trying to protect stall out your feint or your tailwind or your trick room, you can just feint that and then kill them for it. I used to run that on trick room teams in Gen 8 with what's his name? Conkeldurr, maybe? No, I don't remember what it was. But even if they don't protect, it still works, and it's a +2 priority move. It's not very strong, but
Stuff to like break sashes and things.
exactly.
If you got Foresight up, it'll
Or
break
if you have,
Shadow Shield.
For example, what's that move that Joe always runs on his King Gambit? Assurance.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, double power if they've been hit already. You just
Yeah,
rando
sure.
attack into a resistance, and now it's double power.
What on this team
Yeah.
gets assurance though? Does
Bluebonnet
Shenpao get
probably.
assurance?
I don't think
I
so.
don't believe it does. Otherwise, no, it's not.
Okay, yeah, because otherwise
Yeah,
you
it
would
does.
see extreme speed plus assurance.
That would be bonkers.
That'd
They
be
say-
wild.
Yeah, that would just further the Chien-Pao Dragonite core we've seen all
Yeah.
season.
But even if you aren't like doing specifically assurance, like it just breaks sashes
Mhm.
and it breaks protects. Tinkaton gets it too. Wolfie ran that on a Parastrap team, I think.
He ran that on his Toon Squad team at I believe it was Charlotte.
Team. That's what it was.
Charlotte, I believe. No, it was Charlotte because they were talking about it. I remember now.
Yeah. Because you feint something and then you just Chien-Pao it, and now it's gone.
Mhm.
Feint is my favorite move in Pokemon. Like competitively, it's my favorite move.
Yeah, I had so much fun with it. I brought it to Charlotte as well on Mousehold. It
Yeah,
was
there you
so
go.
fun. I loved that
There you
move.
go. Feint them, and now they just have to.
Wait,
eat the
what
Rage
move?
Fist.
Feint,
Faint?
yeah,
Oh.
Yeah.
breaks, protects, like
True.
bunch of priority. Remember, I read this one guy like a book like for like 3 or 4 turns in a row, went calling his protects and just feint and double attack into it. It was
Dude, that's
fantastic. I loved it.
cathartic.
It was awesome.
I
But
think the very interesting thing about this team, just kind of as a closing remark for me, is that like as well as it does with its Sun, I feel like some of the members on its team also really don't like having Sun. Like a dry skin Heliolisk doesn't like having Sun up on a turn by turn basis.
Yeah.
It boosts like opposing fire types into Jirachi, Chien-Pao, Brute Bonnet, Tinkaton. It takes away like your Scalds aren't as effective on Jellicent or whatever. So I think it's interesting because it boosts a good portion of his team, but like it also they're
It's a
gonna have to be
detriment to the
very
other half.
careful about it because some of their mons can get really burned by it.
That Jellicent is getting solar beamed so many times this season.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's
could be a
a
problem.
possibility.
Heliolisk with solar power choice specs is killing so many things.
Yeah, Mega Houndoom is solar power too, right? That's
Yeah.
its
That
mega
double solar
ability.
Yeah,
power.
that's solar power. With like 140 special attack.
It didn't need that.
Yeah,
No, it
and
really
like,
did not.
even though Jirachi and Chien-Pao and Brute Bonnet might not like being in the sun, and they might get kind of burned by it, it's also like a total mind game you could play because now they're like, oh, dude, we could just murder this Brute Bonnet now. Then you don't even have to Rage Powder it, and it just lives something, and you whack because you might as well have rage powder because they targeted into it. Or you just protect with your Chen Pao and just murder something because they're like, we could just remove this with a fire type.
Yeah. It's gonna be crazy.
I think that Houndoom picks up a lot of KOs this season.
Houndoom is fast too.
And
isn't it?
Tinkaton is such a good supportive move. Will like fake out Encore T-Wave.
I remember people looking
Especially
at it
with
and saying that
Moldbreaker.
I remember people looking at it and saying the only thing it needed was a better attack stat. But like,
Yeah.
Did anyone get Mimikyu this season? I don't see it.
Yes.
They did?
The Nimbasa Chargers, the last team that we're going to cover today.
Yeah,
there you
Mario
go.
and Big S took it.
Yeah, Tinkaton just makes Mimikyu not exist.
Yep.
yeah. Downfall, I know you had closing remarks. Anyone else?
Mine was Heliolisk.
Okay. All right. And the next team we're going to talk about, we have a coach in call. It's Bird Gang with Nikki and Pato, Lunala
Gang.
Volcanion as their restricted pairing with Mega Charizard Y. I have mentioned all of their birds.
Listen.
Listen.
First of all, we were planning on getting Oricorio, but AOX sniped it and I cried. And so we need to talk about the fact that Amoonguss is so funny. I don't like using it and I don't like using against it, but it facilitates things on this team that are obnoxious. I will
Yeah, this
say.
is like this team's got a really good trick room mode.
This team would go crazy in a Dynamax format.
Yes, it would.
Man, if Dynamax was here, y'all wouldn't be ready. But I'm obviously not going to talk about a ton of things, but I'll talk about some like more off the wall things. Specifically, my man, the myth, the legend, Chargebug. This Mon, I fought tooth and nail to get on this team. And
Its ability is battery, right? It's like power
Battery.
spot.
Yes, it's Eviolite, and it's battery. So like, sure, maybe it's not as physically bulky as Stonejourner, but you don't hit it with a half an ounce of special attack and it melt. And it gets a lot of things to like really punish you for ignoring it. Because it's got string shit, it's got sticky web, it's got electro ball, it's got mud slap if you want to be funny. I love this Pokemon. I fell in love with it back in Gen 8 when I watched a Wolfie stream, and he lost his it was one of his Road to 100 runs, and he actually lost that stream. He didn't make it to number 1 because he played Chargebug Groudon. And the Chargebug, he ignored the Chargebug too much, and he just lost for it, and it was so funny. And I love this Pokemon. It's the same story with Alchemy. Alchemy is obnoxious. It is probably one of the best Amoonguss counters in this whole format.
And you have Amoonguss.
And I have Amoonguss. So hold that.
Yeah. I think Alchemy is another one where you just can't ignore it.
You cannot because it's plus
Because it gets
2.
the decorate shenanigans.
Yeah.
And it gets to decorate
Decorate is
through
so
protect.
Does it
Yep,
really?
Decorate goes through
does get
protect?
to decorate through protect.
Yeah, it goes through
It does
protect.
in fact go through protect. I'm so
Wow.
glad you mentioned that.
I'm glad you mentioned that too. I didn't know.
Well, you know now.
There's a lot of people who don't know, and we're gonna punish them for it this season. Decorate is so.
There's going to be people who don't know. We just mentioned it on a podcast.
Hey man, people have bad memories.
Everybody
I know
write
for
it
a
down
fact.
now so you don't forget.
Put it on your arm, like it's.
Write it down on the back of your hand.
That +2 is so oppressive. Last year, last gen, I ran Hard Trick Room all like 3 or 4 years of Gen 8. At one point, it got to the point where there was so many Zacians, I was running Cali Ice with 0 attack investment, maybe 4 EVs, and it was all in HP and defense, and it would just hold a weakness policy. And so I would just Dynamax, face tank the Behemoth Bash, get weakness policy up, get Trick Room up, and decorate. Boom.
That is crazy.
And it wouldn't even matter that I didn't have defense investment, because turn like 3, I have the world's most high of horsepowers.
Yeah, it doesn't
The
get like
highest
heal pulse.
horsepower.
It doesn't get
Oh,
something
man.
like heal pulse, right? Like alchemy.
It does. I'm fairly sure it does. And
It
even
does
if it doesn't,
not.
we
I
the
have
pollen
great
puff.
news. It does not, in fact, get heal pulse.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. That makes
Good.
it
It
a
does
little.
get a
Pollen
aromatherapy,
puff.
though.
It gets
That one's
pollen
really
puff.
funny. No, but we have
No.
pollen puff because of Moongus.
Because of
Oh.
the Mungus, yeah.
Yeah, and we have screens
With a
as if we'll
Meowstic.
need it. We got
Yeah.
screens, fake
I would
out,
say-
faint on Meowstic and Prankster Weather.
Meowstic is really cool. I'm looking for that. Looking
Yeah.
forward to that.
Meowstic is Sableye, but you lose Disable Encore and you gain a ton of stat dropping moves.
Mhm.
Not Eerie Impulse, Fake Tears plus Charizard Heatwave.
That sounds fun.
It's awesome.
You and I have different definitions of fun on that one. I won't lie to you.
It's so much fun. And Volcanion was entirely Pato's idea. I gotta hand it to him. I do have a lot of experience playing with Volcanion, and I really, really love this Pokemon. Last gen again, back when I played singles, it was all the way down below UU in singles, because no one understood the fact that this Pokemon is immune to everything, or not immune, but resists everything. Like if you do /weak Volcanion right now,
What does it come up with? It's weak to electric. It's weak to ground.
it's basically just
Is that it?
fire weaknesses and then also electric.
Okay, so ground, rock, electric.
It's weak to electric, ground, rock, and it resists bug, fairy, quad resists fire, quad resists ice, quad resists steel, burn immune, water immune.
Yeah, that sounds like a really solid Pokemon.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it also has 100. It also has 80, 120, 90 defenses. Slap an assault vest on there with your 130 base special attack.
Seems fun.
It's 70 speed, so I can tailwind it or I can trick room it. This Swan does everything.
Yeah, that's what it seems to me.
Ho ho ho. Chargebug's still the goat though. That's the Pokemon you guys need to look out for. You need to look out for the greatest lead in the history of VGC, and that is Chargebug Metagross. I will not tell you why.
I thought battery only boosted special attack.
Nope. It
Oh,
boosts
boy.
all
No,
of
it's just
them.
it's basically power spot. It's across the board.
Oh, boy.
No, it is special. It is just special attack.
Oh, you're right. I can't read.
I'm thinking Stone Joiner is
Both.
both, and then what's it called? Charon is just attack and special defense.
In Sun, but yes, I got you.
Yeah, in Sun, but still.
We haven't talked about the B tiers at all. Hariyama,
Oh,
Rhyperior, Aquatoros. All of them
this
seem really
is-
good.
Yeah, I did not do a lot of picking in the B tier. I did a lot of picking in the C and D tier.
Mhm.
Hariyama is entirely what it is. Just take it at face value. It's
Yeah.
exactly what you think it's going to be every single time. And it's because it does the same thing every time, and you really aren't going to stop it.
Well, I mean, it'd
Because
be
we
fun to
have-
stop it, but yeah.
Yeah, it'd be great if you could. Good luck, because I've got we have so many moves to facilitate. Rhyperior, I don't know much about Rhyperior. I've never played with Rhyperior, but Pato really loves it. Lightning Rod is a hilarious ability. So is Solid Rock.
It's also good with a weakness policy.
Fact.
That thing.
Back
That thing
in
is
Sword
fat.
and Shield, they would run like max with weakness policy under Trick Room. It was so strong.
Yeah, that's
I was
one
say,
of the
especially
things-
because again, you guys do have a good trick room mode. It's base 40 speed, so you figure if you run min speed, you're hitting 40, which is ridiculous. And then you've got 115 for HP and then 130 for defense and 140 for attack. So your SPDEF is lacking a little bit, but if you can get around that, especially with a weakness policy, you can do
light
some
screen.
damage on a Trick Room team.
Oh yeah, and of course that was exactly the meme that I sent when I drafted this thing. Was the I'll send it. It's the Dynamax was the greatest thing to ever happen to VGC.
Yeah. Oh yes,
love
that
this
image.
picture.
That image.
But the real king of Rhyperior is the fact that it gets both Fissure and Drill Run.
Horn
not
Drill?
Drill Run, Horn Drill.
Oh,
Yay!
It gets both.
Oko move.
Just in case you run out.
It gets both, just in case I run out. Yeah.
There will be a week you run both, isn't there?
There will be a week where we run both, maybe. If I can convince.
So you're gonna have to talk
More
Pato
likely it
into
will
it.
be just one and then whatever it's called, stomping.
That could work too.
Because it does get the duo, I think. Yeah.
I think it does, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep,
most
and it's
ground
got
types get
Edgequake,
stomping at this
It's
point.
got the Goat Pursuit. I think it has every horn attack.
Doesn't get Horn Leech.
Doesn't get Horn Leech, bad Pokemon. I'm giving this away. Who wants it?
Honestly, I'm happy with my B tiers. I think I'll pass actually.
I don't even remember what B tiers you have.
I have
Oh
superior.
my god. You guys have the freaking goat B tiers. I forgot.
Yeah.
That's not B tier.
The
That's
B
my
tiers
A-
that aren't B
Dude,
tiers.
your B tiers are better than my A tiers.
Imposter B tiers.
Tauros Water and Tauros Fire in B is insane.
Taurus Water on the fire team and Taurus Fire on the water team.
Yes, sir.
Were they in the same tier as regular Tauros? Because if so, that's
No.
criminal.
No.
No.
No, I don't
I
think,
think
so.
Taurus was.
So I meant Tauros fighting.
Yeah, Tauros
Tauros
fighting is in
fighting
C. Tauros
is in
fighting is in
Tauros
C.
fighting is ass.
Yeah,
Tauros
it
fighting
is.
is
Take it from the guy who
complete
used it
ass.
last season. It's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my team is very face value, and the stuff that isn't face value, I can't say because it's so necessary to keep it under wraps.
No, I get that.
The most
I get that.
interesting parts about my team are the things that we didn't draft. There was a time where this team was going to have I think 3 mega Pokemon.
Oh.
1, 2, 3,
Wow.
3 or 4. There was a point where this team was going to have like 3 or 4 mega Pokemon on it.
Oh.
Oh, dude, it was gonna be awesome, and that wouldn't use any A tier slots and only 1 S tier slot, and we would have 3 megas.
Huh.
It was gonna be great.
That sounds like it would have been fun, but I don't know.
Reminder that itemless Sableye is in B tier. Moving on.
Yeah.
That's my closing thoughts. You can get itemless Sableye in B tier and itemless Venusaur in A.
Yeah. Well, Rillaboom did. Well, Mega Venusaur did get taken. Actually, it's in the other half of the draft.
It
Mhm.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kale and
Oh,
Quirt
it did.
took
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, we were gonna do that and just never mega it. And just have Venusaur without a focus sash.
Mm.
Yeah, I suppose. Downfall Hera, you guys have any closing thoughts on this team?
I don't think so.
I like it. I think Amoonguss is really nice because, like, yeah, you can run Goggles and like Terra Grass on everything and Lumberry, but I still think like the Pollen Puff, Clear Smog, and Raid Cutter are really nice.
If you Terra Grass in front of me, I am clicking Heat Wave.
I was just
so
saying,
Yeah,
Mega
that's
Charizard would just
so
love
hard.
for you to click
Yeah.
Terra Grass.
It'll just
Please.
melt you.
Everybody run as many Terra Grasses as possible. I promise you.
Facts.
I promise you. I promise you it will work.
Yay. All right. Our next team up is the Virbank City Victory Stars with Goose and Jake. Restricted pairing is Veltal and Victini with Mega Absol.
This is a good team.
This Victini has the second strongest final gambit in the entire format, behind Annihilate, who I don't remember if they got drafted at all.
I know Mousehold got drafted.
Mousehold got drafted with Gholdengo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the fast. There, I don't see one. So yeah, this is the strongest final gambit in the entire game. And they
Victini
also
also
have
gets-
V-Create.
I was just about to say that V create,
Hate this.
And
which
they have
I
Lily
did
Cole.
not realize until today when I was looking at the team that it is 180 base power, which is insane.
You know who else gets it? Rayquaza.
which is also
jeez.
crazy.
Wait, Rayquaza gets V create? I thought that
It
was a balanced
does.
Hackmon's move.
No,
Nope.
Oh.
Rayquaza gets
it actually just has it.
Why?
because he's the GOAT. He
And I want to
deserves it.
say Rayquaza can terrestrialize, can it?
Yeah,
It
it's only
can.
5.
And it's
But
on
can
this
Terra
team, but-
normal E-speed or Terra fire V-create
It can do
Yeah.
both.
or Terra flying whatever dragon.
Dragon
Ascent.
Ascent.
Dragon Ascent, yeah.
Why is Rayquaza 5?
I don't know.
Why
Just
is
R6 all
Rayquaza?
day.
That's a fair question. I don't know.
Anyways, back to the topic at hand. They
Yeah,
have
back to the
all
topic
of
at
the
hand.
Hisuian mons.
Yeah,
and
you've
the
got
GOAT Knuckle Stack.
I'm gonna say
Knuckle
right
Stack's
now,
a good
Knuckle
Knuckle Stack is
Hey,
fantastic.
Knuckle is
It
my goat. I picked him up. I picked Knuckle up for season 3, and that thing with Eviolite, I ran it with Klefki behind screens last
I
season.
know because
and
I watched you.
there were so many games that it won or almost won me. The only issue with it is like when you're playing that kind of thing, you're prolonging a game, so you run into crits. And the games that I almost won that it didn't quite sweep for me were games that like crits came into play or something. So that thing I think being D tier is crazy.
You know what guts it? The fact that every single Pokemon gets knockoff now.
That is true. Yeah, with us having a lot more
Eviolite is
knockoff.
not real anymore.
Yeah.
I
I'm-
like the Walking Wake pick.
Yes, I'm really excited
we're
to see
gonna get
Walking
I'm
Wake.
excited to see it as well.
Oh, it's so scary. It's
Especially
so
like next
scary.
like this is as a Sun team, this thing's gonna be nuts. With the Storm
Dude.
Drain Gastrodon, you've got Chlorophyll, Lilligan H, you've got it boosts the Victini's V create, you boost Walking Wake in literally every way possible.
Yeah.
Victini will boost the sleep powder accuracy.
Yup. Like yeah, like
True.
wide lens Victory Star Victini.
In Sun,
I want to say that because what is sleep powder? 75?
Sleep Power
Yeah.
75. With whatever it's called, it should be 81-ish, 82.
So
yeah,
with one
82
of
and a
them,
half. So
Ooh,
if you
it
run
rounds down,
if
though.
you
It
run
rounds down.
if you run like wide lens Victory Star, you're at like 90% accurate sleep powder.
Yeah.
that's a problem.
And in Sun, Walking Wake has unresisted stab coverage because it gains fire stab from the Sun
Mhm.
boost.
Yeah, with Victory Star and Wide Lens, it's 90% accurate.
Also,
Hmm.
Victory Star Fire Blast and Victory Star Hydro Pump.
Yeah. And
Oh,
then the other
boy.
thing is like you never have to worry about a Draco missing.
Yep.
Well, like it's like
No,
99%
man, you
accurate.
could just
Yeah,
right?
it'd be
Walking
99.
Wake.
Yeah, like you
Oh,
basically
you're
don't
right,
have to worry
99.
about it.
Yeah. Unless you've got the wide lens. Yeah.
Wide Guard, Quick Guard, Cleavor. Oh wait, it gets all the Nat Dex moves that Scizor gets now. This thing's a monster.
I mean, again, I
Oh.
know it got close combat.
Vacuum Wave. That's not.
That's not relevant.
Yo,
Uh,
Vacuum Wave.
I was forgetting which one. I was thinking it was Monk Punch for a second.
Does it get like Sacred Sword or
It
something?
gets Pursuit. It gets Knockoff Light Screen Warning Star. Psycho Cut.
That's not bad.
Psycho Cut. It gets Bug Bite again, but it doesn't have Technician. It has Sharpness.
Quick attack if you need to pick up a KO.
Yeah.
It gets Steel Wing, interestingly enough.
Yo, that's kind of heat.
That's not bad coverage.
Okay, I know it's a 50 base power special move, but it gets Struggle Bug.
That is actually
Ooh.
really valuable.
I would agree.
It also gets Pounce.
Because it'll be swarm boosted as well. Depending
Well,
on
no,
which
no,
route
it
he's
won't.
at.
It won't be. I'm just thinking more. The special
More of the
attack
fact
reduction.
that it drops both opponents' special attack, unless you're King Gambit, in which case it doesn't matter. God,
I don't-
hate
I-
how good-
Rocks aren't a big thing, but like Stone Axe is just kind of a good stab move for it to have.
Oh, it gets Night Slash.
Huh. It gets
Does
some
it?
good coverage then.
Yeah. It gets Feint, of course, so you can break those protects when they try to stall out your Sun. Or you can Feint when they try to block a Sleep Powder. and then you sleep powder him for it.
Mm-hmm.
Assurance, of course.
Yeah. Seems like a fun time. I'm interested in the Mega Absol, actually. Like
Mega
they've got
Absol.
What
Lily
does that
Cole,
thing
right? They've got
do?
Cleavor. Like
Mega Absol does a lot of damage. There you go. It's 115 speed, 150 attack
that's not bad.
with stab knockoff. When they have an item, knockoff is close to 100 base power.
It's like
It gets
97 and a
Perish
half,
Song.
right?
It gets Pursuit.
Yeah,
it
because I think
gets
it's
Sucker
65
Punch,
times.
Will-O-Wisp.
Yeah, 97 and a
uh,
half.
And it gets Magic Bounce. That's its ability, right?
Mhm,
yes.
Once you Mega Evolve.
Right.
Yeah, this Pokemon is slept on day in, day out for the past how many years?
No, I think this is a very good pick, especially in like what tier was it even in? Yeah, as a
B.
B tier. That's a
Yeah, as
hell
a
of a
B
B
tier,
tier.
that's a very good pick.
150
Well, all of the
base.
Megas in B are pretty good picks in B.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say
Again,
so as well. I would say maybe not like Mega Audino.
I actually looked at Mega
Audino.
Audino. That thing is like really
Mega
good
Audino
supporting.
baton passes the fattest wishes you have ever seen in your life.
Yeah, like it's got like Mega Audino has really good supporting options. I remember looking at it for like a defensive piece.
Yeah. Absol gets it gets Parasong, which I find very funny, like a weird use for it.
Yeah, at 115 speed, that's not bad.
You can like another thing you can do is they have Mabastiff, who has the almighty Stakeout. We said for so long that Stakeout would be good if it was on a Pokemon that wasn't a squirrel. Now you can do things like Perish Song and just like don't even trap them. They try to dip and you
because they have
Hey, you
to.
just blow up the
Yeah.
bomb that comes in.
you blow up the mon that comes in with Stakeout Mabastiff with a choice band because also Mabastiff is really fast.
It is?
Mabastiff is
It's base
85.
85.
It's base 85.
That's
I
a
don't know,
lot
I'd call
faster
that
than I
really
thought it was.
fast.
It's base 85. You put a scarf on that and Stakeout. Stakeout is
yeah.
a choice band, so you can have both if you can force a switch, which is very easy to do, especially on a Sun team with these Pokemon.
And Perish Song.
And sleep powders.
Also gets
and
comeuppance,
salt
which could be cool.
tears.
Comeuppance is just a Metal Burst, right? Like it's not. It doesn't get the reduced priority.
Yeah.
Yup.
Yeah, I don't know if it's
Something
bulky
of-
enough to really use Comeuppance very well, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Looking at its bulk, it's 80 HP, 90 defense, 70 speed.
Also,
That's not great, but it's usable.
something that hasn't come up a lot just in general, but in Nat decks, almost every single Pokemon gets Toxic, Thunderwave, Will-O-Wisp, like all three, because they all used to be tutor moves. So the amount of status in Nat decks is obnoxious.
Which makes Mega Absol even more valuable.
Yeah, and Mega
With
Absol
Magic
is
Bounce, yeah.
115 speed. That's really good. And it's got Sucker. Dude, that Sucker does so much damage.
Yeah.
It gets Taunt. You can just taunt and then put a Sucker into the Pokemon. And if they switch, they get Stakeouted or they get Pursuited.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this seems like a very volatile draft league.
Yeah.
Like with all the status we're going to be
Natdex
throwing
is-
around, with all the sun we're going to be throwing around.
Natdex is so belligerent in the amount of damage you can output. Oh,
It's an Oko format.
it's Yveltal, Dark Aura, Absol.
Yay!
Oh my
I was
God.
actually just about to say that.
Dude, I
That's
didn't
so
even think
busted.
about it.
Yeah.
That's insane. It's
Oh my
150, right?
God.
And then Veltals are both 131. Like,
Yeah, Yveltal, I think it's like 131.
Dude,
that's going to be a
Yeah,
lot of dark type
131 for
damage.
both. I didn't realize I had it for both. Oh my god, this thing's nuts. I'm
Yeah,
I'm
Nozarian.
excited to see what they do with Yveltal. I'm a big Yveltal lover. I always sucked at using it, which is
dude, that's
hilarious to
base
say because it
93
is so good.
Sucker Punch.
Yeah. No,
And that
dark
knockoff.
aura on this team will be crazy.
Oh, and they've got Throat Chop for the Parasong team, the one Parasong team. Who is it? AOX.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dude,
Solid team.
but you can abuse that dark aura as well. You just murder Victini. Torkoal does not love like neutral hits. Walking Wake does not love neutral physical hits specifically. Even though it's 99-91, it crumples to some things you would be surprised at.
Yeah, but I think between like Lilligant H and Cleavor,
Yeah.
they're all right into opposing dark types.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, you've got good coverage, to be fair. But
Weird
yeah,
Ear is
like
just bootleg for Farigiraf.
it gets Intimidate over Armor Tail.
It does have
that's valuable
Frisk, like you
depending.
said earlier.
Yeah. I suppose it depends on what you're looking for. There's probably a reason. There's a reason they took it.
Dude, I'm waiting
I
for
say
them to
Word Ear
run.
is just bulky enough to be annoying when
Yeah.
you really want to ignore it, and then it's just gonna sit there and like harass you and be like, no, you can't ignore me.
I'm waiting for them to put an Adrenaline Orb on their Mastiff. Please. Please give me Guard Dog Adrenaline Orb. The agency wants it. That's what I'll say.
Does the age? Nah, Sempra doesn't have Intimidate. I don't think.
No. Trying to say, there was a team that had like a shit ton of Intimidate.
Oh,
No, we were like just looking at it. Like Mawile gets
I was gonna say
Intimidate.
that Mawile
Taurus
has
gets
it.
Intimidate.
Yeah, that's who it was. Stantler gets Intimidate.
Oh yes, that's what it was. Yeah. Neutral and Cozy
the
have
most
3
powerful
Intimidate
Pokemon
ones.
according to Japan, wasn't it?
Yeah, top
Because
8 at Nationals.
Japan Nationals.
Oh man,
It was like Hypnosis Reflect or something.
yeah, they just ran raw Hypnosis like a legend.
Yeah, that was a wild team.
Close team sheet is so awful when it's not like draft.
As a C tier, Metacham's also, I think, like a really good pick.
Yo, see,
Just
I
like
agree.
as
fun
the
as
value
shit.
that like I think it is like C tier is very fair for it, but I think for C tier it does bring a good chunk to the table because it's
You
huge
have-
power, it's got fake out, it's got
it probably has dual screens.
I know it has at
Let me
least
see.
one of them. I don't know about both. Reflect. Yeah.
I'll check.
It's got both. Yep.
It gets Trick Room, the mind
Yep.
game.
Oh wait, it has all the elemental punches and it gets Imprison
Yeah. You put Weird
and
Ear
skill
in-
swap.
You put Weird Ear and Medicham out, and then instead of Fake Out and then Trick Room with the Weird Ear, you just do like Trick Room on the Medicham. That's a mind
And
game.
skill
right
swap
there.
word here.
Yeah.
Skill swap Weird Ear. Skill
Switch
swap
the
Weird Ear with
Intimidator
Psych
around.
Shield Bash, so it buffs its defenses and it has double attack.
Ooh.
Medicham also gets Faint, which, like I said earlier on Trick Room,
Is always
is
useful.
really good. It
Yeah.
actually, I learned that from FSG did a video on Gudra, and it like top 8'd seniors at Worlds one year with Faint Gudra. Because they
And
ran
there's really not a lot of priority blocking running around.
Yeah, and they have one of the best priority blockers in Cleavor
With Quick Guard, right?
with Quick Guard.
Yeah.
Sempra's got Quick Guard, Talonflame.
I know there's a team with Indeedee Male.
No, Farigiraf went undrafted.
Did someone really draft Indeedee male and no one draft Indeedee female?
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
Indeedee
league
EOS
rules.
has
I love
Indeedee
this
male.
league.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of Pokemon do get White Guard, Quick Guard in Nat decks. Quick Guard. Oh yeah, holy shit.
Does Jirachi get it? Because there's a lot of Jirachi running around.
I don't
No.
see it.
Don't believe so.
Hey, Ambipom gets it though.
Ambipom!
We figured it out.
Yeah,
We
that's what it
figured
does.
out why they wanted it.
That's what
I
it
don't
We
even
does.
know what
solved
it
it.
does.
Trying to look for like a
Guys.
relevant Pokemon that gets it. Medicham itself gets it.
Mhm.
Wow, a lot of Pokemon do get. Pretty much every fighting type gets it. Yeah, I think that's the best I can say to like give the scale of. I think it's just like every fighting type, and then just like random Pokemon.
Mhm.
I know we covered this team first, but I kind of didn't think about this. I don't think this was mentioned, but Kangaskhan gets power up punch.
Yep.
That it
That
does.
thing is insane.
Didn't they nerf it to where the double effect doesn't happen on the second hit? Wasn't
No,
that
they
the
just took it
Kangaskhan
away.
nerf?
No, they just
Oh,
took
they
it
just
away
took
from
it away.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
well,
just-
now
wow.
it gets it back.
Yeah,
That's
now
funny.
it gets it back.
That's
So
funny as shit.
I'm assuming it'll work the same.
They should have put in.
Okay,
They
never
should have gotten
mind.
Indeedee and put Instruct on that, and just gotten like +4 in one turn. Not Indeedee.
That
with
is
Instruct.
wait,
Or
that is
Oranguru.
kind of crazy.
Oranguru went drafted
Oranguru.
in
I
one
love
of the
Oranguru.
in what we thought was one of the strongest teams in the draft with a Tinglu Zamazenta crowned.
I
Yeah.
love Oranguru.
Yeah,
It's such a cool mon.
It's a fantastic
so
piece.
Awesome. It won juniors
Mm-hmm.
at NAIC.
NAIC, yeah.
Twick Womb.
it doesn't
Twig,
do any
I-
damage.
I
It
click
doesn't
how
need to.
Twick Womb.
It doesn't need to. Because
Yeah.
you can do Eruption Heatran, Instruct Eruption Heatran.
Yeah,
Or Water Spout, War Turtle.
That's gonna be a problem. I suppose.
Back to Eruption Torkoal, though.
Yes, back to Eruption Torkoal. That's one thing we didn't even talk about. This team just has Lilycole.
Yeah.
Faster Lilycole.
Mm-hmm.
With Lilligant if you look at teams, the thing you can tell about how many moves a Pokemon gets is the really, really old Pokemon. Thinking like Gen 5 and earlier, maybe Gen 4 and earlier especially,
Get a lot.
get a lot of moves. Because in Gen 6, 7, and a little bit in 8, there were some tutors that gave like just kind of offhand moves to literally any Pokemon. That's how
Mhm.
every Pokemon got toxic for a while and every Pokemon got knockoff. So you get a Pokemon like Torkoal or Victini and Medicham, and they just like they get everything. There's just not a move that they don't get.
Everything they
Uh,
could possibly need.
it's that's why Pokemon like Meowstic and Sableye, like they already have a ton of moves, but they don't get power crept by Nat decks that hard because they get even more moves.
Mhm.
And it just becomes this like obnoxious wall of like 4th move slot syndrome. I have 8th move slot syndrome.
That's fair. That's fair. Do we have any closing thoughts on this team?
Good team.
Looks crazy.
I'm going to crit that Knuckle stack.
You might have to.
Yeah, you might have to.
Dude, I'm gonna have to tear my Charizard Y before I get salt cured.
Yeah.
Salt Cure is going to do like 50%.
Mhm.
Hell, my
Yeah.
Leafeon is going
No,
to
you
be
can't
fine.
tear it because it's a mega.
God's scared of what he could have made. They should have let me tear.
You're
the
gonna have to
Charizard.
lead it because if they can get they've got like Stone Axe Cleavor, so they can put like rocks up, and then your Charizard will come in and take a cute.
Dude,
50%.
I hate this team. Do I
Ooh.
have to play these people? Where's the schedule?
I was about to say.
It's in the dock.
I know. What are they? They're VV. Do I have to play these people? I'm panicking. Let's go.
You don't have to.
I don't think I do.
Nah, I gotta play Nikki week 1. This is not going great.
That's going to be a very fun matchup, though.
Dude, it
It's
really
a
was
weather war week
Weather
1.
War week
Let's
1,
go.
No,
baby.
we were talking yesterday. The Evil Ohio Skitties, they play weather every week. They
Oh,
play
no
Tooth Weather
way.
Sitter every week.
Unfortunate.
Like think about how many teams we have looked at that have a weather setter naturally.
We have
Right?
3 Kyogre teams. I think there's 2 with Koraidon. Mega Charizard Y gets drought when it Mega Evolves, right?
Right. Yeah. Torkoal gets
Yeah,
drought.
and
There's a
then we've
Mega
got Torkoal.
Tyranitar. There's a base Tyranitar for soft sand, I believe.
Uh-huh.
There's a Polytoad team.
Does
Uh,
every single team for the first? I think Sempra is the only team in the first like 3 lines that doesn't get one. I think, and even
No,
then,
Last Resort
like,
didn't take one.
a lot of the prankster mons like Last Resort has get all of the weather setter moves. Were one of those moves
I was
that
say, I
they
think
would just
Cottony
put on
gets
everything.
at least Rain Dance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Before
Cottony
we
has
before
I
we-
think Sunday.
yeah
Sunny
before
Day
we
and-
start talking about the whole league at large, though, we've got one last team to talk about.
Stack Attacker.
Yes, Stack Attacker.
Attack.
Stack Attacker. the Nimbasa Chargers with Dig S and Mario, Magearna Victini, the only Magearna in the draft, and
surprised.
Mega Tyranitar.
Out of the gate, Mega T-Tar is just nuts, dude. Like the stats on that thing.
Yeah,
are
they gave it
crazy.
Sandstream still because they knew how good it was.
They knew how bad
good it was
would be without
anyway.
it, more like.
The only thing with Mega T-Tar is that it can't hold an item or Terra, which is like what makes normal
Yeah.
T-Tar like better.
Counterpoint, it has 100, 150, 120 defenses and a free assault vest.
I was gonna say, yeah, like it.
Yeah,
it
it gets
almost
a lot more
doesn't
bulk
need.
though.
Its only issue really here will be that it can't Terra, so like a fighting type is its worst nightmare. But it
Yeah,
still
but
has
then you got,
150 defense and 100 HP to handle that fighting type.
But you have more Grim Screens, Squawkability, Intimidate. you have
Pachirisu redirection.
You have a lot of good resists, and you also have Stack Attacker, who's like the opposite.
And its attack stat is still 164, which is absolutely insane.
That is insane.
It also
Given the
gets
bulk that
D-Dance.
this thing has, this thing is pretty freaking nuts.
It gets Hone Claws to make its rock slides and stone edges 100% accurate and 1.5x powerful.
It also has Victini if you don't want to go that route.
True.
Yep.
Oh, true. And it gets the obligatory pursuit.
And
So
probably
annoying.
knockoff question mark?
I don't actually think it does.
I think
It does
T-Tar's like
not,
one of the
and
dark
That was
is
always a funny
awesome.
thing.
That is awesome that it does not.
Yeah,
It's
T-Tar
high
didn't need
horsepower.
knockoff.
If T-Tar got knockoff, it would not have ever fallen to UU last gen.
Oh, it gets assurance.
Fun
Oh,
times,
yeah.
baby.
It gets assurance.
Which will pair really well with a lot of their team.
Yeah. Especially with Mimikyu Shadow Snake.
As well as like some of the threats on their team are pretty fast.
Yeah.
Like Pachirisu. I want to say Lando's not slow by any means.
It's not that fast though.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know what else? It
It's
gets?
101.
On the topic of Landorus, T-Tar gets Smackdown.
Ooh.
That's a
Stab
good point.
Smackdown. Even though
Yeah.
it's 50 base power, that's a lot of damage.
Well,
And
yeah,
then,
you figure
and then
into,
you
into
can
like a
sand
sheer
steer
force
store
life
them.
orb. Yeah.
It gets payback. This T-Tar gets payback. That's 100 base power if it moves slower.
And it's only
Mhm.
what, is it base 50 or is it still base 60?
It's base 50,
50.
turns base 100.
If you
Yeah.
go last, I
If
think.
you
Before
go
stab.
after the target. You don't even
Yeah,
have to go
but you're
last,
base
it's just
50. That's
after
probably
the
going to
target.
happen.
Oh, yeah. You're T-Tar. And then you're just killing shit.
Yeah. Does Sandseer Storm go to 100% accurate in sand?
No,
It's
it's
just
just
No, is
run.
it still
It
just
should.
rain? Okay.
It should.
Still, you get sheer force life orb boosted Sandseer Storm. And also,
Yeah.
like we just mentioned, you get Smackdown. So, oh, you have a flying type? No, you don't.
I think Magearna gets gravity.
Hate that.
I
hate
could
that,
see you
hate
getting
that.
gravity.
It does not, thank God.
Yeah, I think this is the
Yeah.
only team in the draft to take double mythical. I think everything else has a restricted, but this is
I
a
think so
double
as
mythical
well.
team.
Yeah.
This is a cool team. I like it.
Doug
I feel like
Trio
there was-
Alola is very fast.
I feel like in Series 13 last year, like Magearna and Victini was a popular combination. And I was trying to think about why earlier, and I've entirely forgotten since.
So here's the logic behind it, right? Magearna's Soul Heart boosts for every KO,
I
including
know.
on your side. So you Victini Final Gambit to give it +2.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah.
And you can do that with like Trick Room.
Yeah, you've got a couple of
Mhm.
really good setters here too with Stack Attack and Mimikyu.
Oh,
they
and
have
you
an
can do it with
explosion mod?
you have what is that move called? What is that move called?
does it
Memento.
Memento. There you go.
Mhm.
You got double memento.
Wait,
I
who has
think.
Memento?
Doug
I
Trio.
know Doug Trio has it. I think Morgrem or Squawkability, one of those two has it as well, I think.
Yeah.
Oh wow, a lot of Pokemon have it.
Hear me out. What if they run Choice Band Explosion Landorus with Terraghost Magearna?
That sounds like
um,
that could be
you
a
could
problem.
do that in sand with no
Wait,
sand.
you guys know they're gonna watch this, right?
Yes, I know we're gonna watch it. Do you realize how many ideas we've given people over the course of this podcast?
Oh
my
shit,
job.
that's not good.
I don't care. That Pachirisu is getting punted. In
I don't fight the Nimbasa Chargers, so anyone who fights them can have some fun.
Yeah.
Rest
Natdex
in peace.
Pachirisu gets punted. I want to know what they were thinking with Araquanid.
Araquanid is like
I
actually pretty brutal if
Also
you can get
thinking
Trick
that.
Room up. It's like bulky. It's like pretty bulky outside of it. Its water moves are gonna hit like a truck, and with all the rain running around, it's
It quarter
like
or
50%.
no,
It'll get boosted.
it resists fire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then it gets double power on water moves, and it can't be burned, which is actually not half bad.
it's like a busted ability on like a mon that would not be really good otherwise.
And you can Terra Water.
Sticky Web, Lunge, Skitter Smack.
If Skitter
Wide
Smack was
guard?
100% accurate,
Skitter
like
Smack is not.
it's 90.
Oh, wow, that's stupid.
yeah, it's really sad. Like
That's really stupid.
it's weaker and less accurate than Lunge is. Like why? It didn't have to be.
Yeah, that's kind of odd.
Yeah, its move pool and its attack stat are kind of unfortunate.
It gets Frost Breath. Do they have Anger Point?
They can KO their Landorus.
Yeah.
It's X Scissor.
Does Aqua Ring does not affect allies, does it?
Don't think so.
No,
could be
it's
wrong
just
about
its
that.
own
They
thing.
need to buff that move. Yeah.
A 16th is not a lot.
16th is not. Now, if it was like an 8th and it affected allies too.
That would be nuts.
Yeah, but then it buffs Azu, and I don't like Azu. Yeah, because
Based.
it gets Lunge, Sticky Web, Skitter Smack if you want to try it. Spider Web, do they have Prayer Song?
I
Mimikyu.
don't think
Oh,
so.
no, but they have Curse. Curse Mimikyu is funny.
Yeah.
Because then you can KO yourself from Agirna and curse your opponent.
Mm-hmm. One thing we haven't quite talked about yet, I think, like, especially with Mega Titar being a sand setter, like Stack Attacker here, also just
Buff
kind of
special
goes
too.
a little bonkers, given that it's just got that massive ass defense stat.
It's like 211, right?
Yeah.
Or something.
And its
like-
101 becomes like bad at math, base 1.
It's at least 150, 150 plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, and games like
Yeah.
Mega Titar and Stack Attacker, they're both 4 times a week to fighting.
Mm-hmm. Stack Attacker does have the benefit of terastallizing.
But then you're not getting the sand boost.
Very
true.
funny, very stupid and specific interaction. It outspeeds Torkoal and Trick Room. And most definitely can KO it.
I mean,
Torkoal's pretty
probably.
physically defensive.
True, but Stack
I mean, I guess
Attacker-
it gets Stone Edge.
Yeah, you
Stack
ready for the?
Attacker-
Yeah, there's no gyro ball mirrors here. There's no
Yeah.
stack attack v stack attack a mirror for the end game.
Yeah,
That's true.
Its gyro ball is always going to be absurdly powerful. The
Except
only
into
way
like
you're-
Torkoal, but yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the only way you're outspeeding Stack Attacker and Trick Room is if you're an NFE. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Chuckle.
6, 7, 8 Pokemon slower than it.
Yeah. And it's by far the strongest of those 8, I'm sure.
Yeah, the rest of them have a BST below 400 except Pyukumuku.
Pikumuku is not a Pokemon. Let's move on.
Pyukumuku is
I guess that thing
Dude.
exists.
But yeah, Stack Attack is 570 compared to those.
Yeah.
One thing I just noticed is Dugtrio Alola. It also has. Oh no, it doesn't have Arena Trap. Okay, I was gonna say Arena Trap is really nice, but it doesn't have it. So never mind. I lied.
Dugtrio Lola with tangling hair, and then you
It's also got
hit
Sand
your own
Force.
Dugtrio and then Memento into the opponent.
True. It's also got Sand Force going for it.
Sandforce needs a buff. It shouldn't do just Rock Steel ground moves. It should just be moves.
Your attack stat, I think. Yeah.
It should just be your attacking stat.
Yeah. That would be nice.
But I mean, Dugtrio Alola is really not clicking much else.
Yeah, you're very true.
Yeah, that's fair.
Uh,
That's fair. Do we have any closing thoughts on this team?
Squawkability is one thing that terrorized me last season. I lost to it once and very narrowly beat it the second time I played it. So I'll be interested to see how it does in a NatDex format because that thing just terrorized me all season last year or for season 3.
I think that they thought they were cooking with Decidueye and they were not. That's my take. I think
I wouldn't
that we
sleep
didn't.
on Scrappy. I think Scrappy's a pretty
Yeah,
decent.
Scrappy's a
ability.
really nice ability, but
Scrappy's
like, I don't know
great,
what-
but like all of the oppressive ghost types in doubles are either Lunala and Kali Shadow, who now resist your close combat instead of being immune because it's psychic,
Yeah, it's true.
or your specifically Spiritomb, who is now weak to it. So that's it.
Yeah.
Driftblim still
I didn't even know that
resists.
Spiritomb got
yeah.
drafted.
Sableye. Oh, I guess Sableye is now weak to close combat, but
Yeah,
That's-
nobody even took like Spiritomb.
but Sableye can always prankster Willow you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
suppose
this is why I ain't the sauce.
Yeah. And before we wrap up here, looking at the league at large, all 16 teams, is there anything you would like to comment on?
Yes. Neutralizing gas Toadscruel.
That was discussed extensively already.
Dude,
that was
this
that's
team
that's
is so
brutal.
funny.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And they
Next-
have Tailglow Circuitry.
Yeah, that's fun. Actually, really quickly, of the 8 teams we discussed today, which one do you think is the strongest?
Yours.
Jake and Goose.
I would be lying if I said mine, but I obviously I want to. But I think like it's gotta come down to Chillburger has like some high highs and then some not even that low lows. And then I want and Atlantic Aegislash is just something else with those. Like the lower tier picks on those are pretty insane.
It's
Yeah.
either you or Sempra.
I think
Any
that's
day.
fair. That's fair.
Any
And
day.
Hera said he liked VV as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, all 3 of those teams seem. I don't want to prep against my own team, but all 3 of these teams seem very powerful.
I don't know how I got Mega Charizard Y and ended up being the less oppressive of the 2 Sun teams.
Didn't
Yeah.
you like snipe? You sniped them,
We
right?
sniped God tier. We had all the snipes too. Like every single Pokemon that we thought about getting and didn't get, the teams after us immediately drafted. We
Yeah.
changed our mind on Tinkaton at the last second, and then they drafted Tinkaton. We changed our mind on Heliolisk at the last second. They drafted Heliolisk. It was the same thing with Lilligant Hisui and Gastrodon and Walking Wake and Brute Bonnet. Like the 2 teams on either side of us drafted all of our like Nixes.
Yeah.
And now we have Leafeon Chargebug.
Yeah.
Hey,
No, that's
it goes hard.
that's
Dude,
fun.
y'all are not ready for Chargebug Metagross or Chargebug Leafeon. This guy is the GOAT.
Yeah. I think what makes or breaks a draft is your C and D tier Pokemon. Like I know
100%.
Yeah, like I know, like Beer's. I heard that Beer had said that like if you bring a C tier or D tier once, then that's enough. But I think if you could find a use for a D or C tier like 2 or 3 times, then that's like getting the maximum value you can possibly
yeah.
get out of your draft.
Speaking of which, he got Cyclizar in D.
Yeah, that was
okay.
yeah. Cyclizar.
I
and-
saw that. That was a little crazy.
Yeah, we were talking about that. We think that either Cyclizar or Cottony in D is like the steal of the draft.
I think, yeah,
One of those
If-
2.
if Chargebug had Power Spot, it would be crazy because the appeal is it buffs up your restricted to just be even stronger and can make it faster than everything. I think Linoon is also kind of wild.
Linoon's not bad. I think it's kind of. I've only ever seen Belly Drum E-Speed though.
Yeah.
I don't know what else it does.
Y'all are sleeping on Belly Bolt in D.
I mean, Belly
Yeah,
Drum D
someone
is
said
still
that
good.
last season, and then they got throttled, and I don't remember who it was.
I won't lie.
Wait.
I think D is very fair for Belly Bolt in NatDex.
Nah.
Outside
NatDex, yeah.
of like a rain team, I think in NatDex, I think that's very fair.
I watched one match with a Belly Bolt in it last season, and I think it was Swamps, and it got like it got punted.
Yeah. Very fun. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining me. And thank you to
for
everyone.
having us.
Yes, and thank you to everyone who listens to this.
They spelled
Thank
you for
Tusslers
having
wrong
us
in
so
the
You're our
Yes,
letter.
favorite.
I wish you
You
worse
didn't
luck
hear
than
me say
mine.
it.
Real. Valid.
Y'all don't know my luck in regionals, I swear.
I used to have VODs to prove my luck was bad. I think I deleted them.
Yeah. Well, that'll end it. Bye, y'all.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.